Hello and welcome to the next episode of my channel where I'll be taking up finite and non-finite verbs. Now, what do I mean by finite and non-finite verbs? There are various ways in which I can define something. Like for example, I can say I'm a girl. I can say I live in a particular place. Okay, so there are various ways in which I can define or differentiate things. Similarly, verbs can be differentiated by various ways. Like for example, the first is helping verb or main verb, then transitive or intransitive. There is another way how I can differentiate or define verbs, that is finite and non-finite verbs. Now first let us understand what do I mean by finite verbs. Finite verbs are those verbs which change due to the change in the gender or the noun number of the subject. Now, what do I mean by this? Like for example, if I write, I am eating. Now, in this sentence, the subject is I, and that is why the verb is am. Suppose I replace I with he. The verb, the helping verb will change to is. Okay. Suppose I change the subject to he from I. Then the verb also changes. Let's take another example. The child is playing. Now, child is singular. That is why the helping verb which is used in this sentence is. Suppose I change the noun number, that is, I change singular into plural. If I change child into children, then the helping verb will change from is to are. So all those verbs which change due to the change in the subject or due to change in the noun number, that is singular to plural, are known as finite verb. Finite means something which is limited, which keeps on changing. Okay, I am eating, they are eating. Okay, so am changed to are. Clear? So these are known as finite verbs. So we have to keep on changing the tense. We have to keep on changing the subject to see whether the verb is changing. If the verb is changing, that means it's a finite verb. So if finite will change, non-finite will never change. Okay? Now you will say, how is it possible? How is it possible that the verb will not change? Yes, it is possible. Let's see how. So the first type of non-finite verbs are infinitives. Okay? Infinitives are a combination of to plus verb in the first form, of plus verb and ing, or for and ing. Let's see what is it. Okay. Now infinitives act like noun. Okay. And it is a simple combination of to plus verb in the first form, or of and verb with ing, or for plus verb and ing. Let's take an example to understand it better. Suppose I say, I love to read. Now, in this sentence, do we find to plus verb in the first form? Is there anything? Yes, that is to read. So, I can say that to read is an infinitive. Even if I change the tense of this sentence, even if I change the noun number, these two words will never change. Let's see. It is I love to read. Suppose I change the noun number. Suppose from I change to they. Okay, suppose I change the subject and I change it to they. Then also the sentence, the infinitive will be same. To read remained the same. It did not change even though I changed the noun number. Okay, so with I love, then also it is to read. If they love, then also it is to read. So once again, what are finite verbs? Finite verbs change when we change the tense or noun number, and non-finite verbs do not change. There are various types of non-finite verbs. The first type of non-finite verbs which we are taking right now are infinitives. Infinitives act like noun. It's a complex. Okay, it is a combination of 2 plus V1. V1 means verb in the first form, or of plus verb and ing, or for verb and ing. Okay, like for example, I love to read. I is singular, but when I change it to plural, then also to read does not change. Okay, now let's try changing the tense. This sentence is in present tense. Suppose I change it to past. They loved to read. Again, to read is same. So to read is non-finite, and under non-finite it is an infinitive. But we can see that in these sentences there is one verb which is changing. What is that? Love. In present tense it was love. In past tense it became loved. So love is finite verb. Okay, love is finite and to read is non-finite in this sentence. Let's take an example of plus VING. For example, I am fond of playing. Okay, again if I change the tense, this is in present tense. If I change it to past, so am will change to was. I was fond of playing. Okay, so again of playing is not changing. So of playing is infinitive and am is finite. Okay, why? Because it changed. So what changes is finite and what does not change is non-finite. Okay, so this is the thing. Okay, so as we can see that finites are a combination of 2 plus V1, of plus VING, or for plus VING. They act like a noun and they do not change even when you change the tense or noun number. So there are other two types of non-finite verbs, that are participles and gerunds, that we'll be taking up in the next part of this video. I hope you have understood. Thank you and do like the video.